Huron sailboat. The company that won the award was the sailboat, the best company of the year. The father couldn't talk. He lost his voice in '76 as an auctioneer. He could, he could talk, but he couldn't project to an audience. So the son got up there and he said, as a family, we just don't know how we won this award because we don't have very many customers. But we sure have a lot of friends. So if every customer felt like they were your friend and you were theirs, how much better a business would you run? How much better would you do your portion of the work at your workplace? How, just like coming through the gauntlet this morning. You got some ugly people cheering for you. So it makes you feel good because, you're a friend. If you're working at a place where everybody's a friend, then you don't have to measure your thoughts and weigh your words. You just say what you have to say. But so many of us get trapped in jobs where we've got to do, political massage for about a half hour before we can start talking about really important things. We've got to stroke people and make them feel they're important. You can work in that kind of place. That's a special place. I'm going to tell you the Bryant story now because it's a great place to fit it in on. Bear was a new coach at Alabama, first year. He lost a player in South Alabama. He was hungry, he was tired, so he stops at a restaurant. Didn't look like much. He walked in and every head turned and looked at him because he was the only white guy in an all-black restaurant. He walks up to the counter and the big old guy comes up and says, "What do you want? You don't belong here." He says, "I'm hungry. I want to eat." The guy says, "Well, you ain't going to like what we got. Black-eyed peas, chitlins, and collard greens." He says, "Look, I'm just a small-town farm boy from Arkansas. And I've eaten miles of those. I'll have a big plate." After he finished eating and he wanted to pay the guy says, "Nah, you don't have to pay." He says, "No, for a meal this fine, I should pay." And then Bear said, and then I tipped him, not too much to be fancy, but not too little to be cheap. And as I'm walking out, he says, hey, you're the new coach at Alabama, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, sir, my name's Paul Bryant." He said, "Well, would you send me a picture, please?" So the next day he had a snapshot taken and they mailed it down with some other stuff. Now 22 years later, Bear just lost another kid in South Alabama. And he's in mourning because this is the best football player in Alabama and he's going to go to Auburn. And Auburn's in the same league, I think, as Alabama. And I think they're even in the same state. And I do know they hate each other. Bear knew there'd be a lot of Bama heads rolling on the turf if this kid went to Auburn. So he's in mourning. But the third day of mourning, he gets a phone call. "Hey, Coach, if I was to say I still wanted to come to Alabama, would you take me?" It was the kid. He says, "I sure would." And then being calm and cool, he just said, "How would you like me to get you up here? By train, by truck, by car, by airplane?" I mean, he was so jacked up. And then he says, "Tell me, son, why'd you change your mind?" He said, "Well, my grandpa told me if I didn't play for you, I'd never learn as much about football and life as I should. And then he said he'd never speak to me again." You see, you ate in his restaurant 22 years ago, and you left him a picture, and it's his pride and joy. And every customer that walks in, he says, "Take a look, the greatest coach that ever lived. And I fed him his first meal in Alabama." And up on the picture it says, "Thanks for the finest meal I ever ate, Paul be a customer. I want to be somebody that's a friend to the person that's serving me. That's important. That's important in a community. Community outreach. Not for photo ops, but for the right reason. And then Bear said, I met with my staff and I told them that what my mama told me was true and they better remember it when they were working with people. It don't cost nothing to be nice. It don't cost nothing to